I'm not looking to call a national emergency. This is so simple, you shouldn't have to. Now, I have the absolute legal right to call it, but I'm not looking to do that because this is too simple. The Democrats should say we want border security, we have to build a wall, otherwise you can't have border security, and we should get on with our lives.
All right, well, good luck with the getting on with our lives front. Now, just to put Lindsey Graham's idea in perspective, he wanted to reopen and advise the president to reopen the government for 3 weeks, try to hash out these differences. If after that time they're making no progress, he then urged the president to go ahead and do your emergency declaration route. That might be easier said than done. To our legal and overall legal genius, Judge Andrew Napolitano, on this. What do you think, Judge? First of all, can he do that?
Well, before 1976 he could, but in 1976 the Congress defined pretty specifically what an emergency is. I'll condense the definition because it's long and convoluted and it was modified by the courts. But it basically means an extraordinary event that poses an immediate and obvious threat to life, safety, and property that cannot be addressed by the employment of ordinary government assets. That's the problem that he has. That cannot be addressed by ordinary government assets. Now, what
has to be clear and verifiable.
Right. So does the government have the assets to address this? Well, we had 15,000 troops at the border. He could send 25,000 troops there. That might be an improper use of Defense Department assets, but it would be addressing this problem without the emergency declaration. What does the emergency declaration do? Does it let him seize property that the government doesn't own? No. Does it let him spend money that the Congress doesn't authorize? No. It lets him streamline the government. It lets him avoid public bidding if he has to purchase something. It does let him put troops temporarily on private property, but he can't take that property. Why do I say take that property? Congressman Will Hurd, conservative Republican of Texas and a former CIA agent, through whose district the greatest piece of that border wall would go if it's built where the president wants it, has said, I don't know if the president realizes this, but the overwhelming majority of that property where he wants to build it is private property. So he can't condemn property using eminent domain without authorization from the Congress.
But what if the people who own that property, Judge, say,
I'll sell it
by us.
I'll sell it to you.
Right.
They can absolutely sell it. According to Congressman Hurd, their message to him is, not in my backyard.
Is that right?
Yeah, I don't know that the president realizes that many of these people are his supporters who want border security.
And you just don't go
right. Now,
that.
If you've ever had any experience with eminent domain, the government always lowballs you. You end up having a trial, and it takes a couple of years.
Excuse me. What's your sense of where this is all going?
I think the pain that your two guests just so nicely described will soon become so endemic throughout the economy that the president will have to back down. And he's begun to back down a little bit by his recognition of the fact that if he does declare an emergency and does say I'm going to spend money that the Congress hasn't authorized and does say I'm going to occupy private property without using eminent domain, the courts will stop that before the ink is even dry on the emergency declaration. I think he's been given that advice by his lawyers. In my view, now I'm your legal guy, not your political guy, but in my view, we do need a great national debate on immigration.
We never get it.
No,
never get
but
it.
the immigration laws are a scotch tape and spit put together from various generations of members of Congress when attitudes were vastly different about immigration. We need to resolve all of this after a great national debate. I don't think it can be done with the Democrats controlling one house and their perception that the president has a gun to their head.
All right, the president argues they've changed their minds on this repeatedly. For example, Nancy Pelosi has voted for more wall construction, even under Barack Obama. But the shutdown part is what's making it bad.
Well, I think the president is historically correct in that. But, you know, my late friend Justice Scalia used to say there's only one reason why members of Congress vote for anything or vote against anything: to get reelected. So they believe that opposing Donald Trump is the best thing they can do to satisfy their base. Question: if Barack Obama were asking for this wall, would the Democrats be opposing it? I don't think so.
Well, they did vote for 130 miles of it when Barack Obama was president.
Yes, yes. Right. So where does this go? I think the pain is going to be felt so broad and wide that the president will find some face-saving way to take a couple steps back.
That would give him face-saving way, even if it were opposed by a district court somewhere. I mean, he could say, I gave it my best shot.
Well, if he signs that that declaration and the courts stop it, particularly if it's a judge appointed by, not by him, but by President Obama, well, then he can rant and rave all he wants and open the government. But this thing will be in the courts for 2 years before it's resolved. And no wall will be built in that time period.
But he could say,
I did my best.
Right.
And it was one of those unelected black robe judges that stopped me.
Yeah, all the way to the Supreme Court. You think
He could even call him an Obama judge. I think it would go to the Supreme Court, yes,
really?
where I don't know what the outcome would be.
Interesting. All right, Judge, thank you. You choked me up here with your comments. They kind of
Are you okay?
rattled me. No, but I just thought we could resolve this.
I hear
sooner.
Gasparino in my ear. Is that why you were coughing?
Yes, just the thought that he's coming on soon. Thank you, Judge, very, very much.